it's Raquel Bowman here, and today I'm having a play with some new products that I've recently gotten. Firstly, I'm going to have a go at seeing how I can incorporate these Sizzix dies into my layout. So I've got these Thinlits dies, which are new ones by Tim Holtz. It's a rosette set, and I thought that'd be a nice fun sort of handmade embellishment to go on my layout. Then I have these, which I absolutely love. They're concentric circles, and they're basically just, you can cut them all out at once or one at a time, and they make that circular ring design. And then also I've grabbed this one out because it will match the collection, which I'm going to show you in a moment, that I'm using, and it is a Thinlits fold along die by Jen Long, and it's called the Card Flamingo Fold Along. But what part I'm actually wanting to use is the flamingo and the little floral pieces, so that's that there. In terms of products, I have the Heidi Swap Pineapple Crush collection by which I purchased at scrapbook.com, and I've got the ephemera pieces and I have the beautiful papers, and I'm really wanting to tone into the sort of black and white prints, the pops of pink, and then incorporating some of the greenery for the leaves in the design. And I'm documenting a photo taken on a recent family holiday of my little girl. She's wearing black, so I thought that's perfect. I've printed this in colour because I think that it will complement the collection fine, and I shouldn't need to make it black and white. And I'm just going to play and see where it takes me. So basically I'm thinking of using this flamingo next to my photo, but in terms of design, that's really all I've thought about. Is I know I want to have a go at incorporating the flamingo, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, I'll do something else. We'll see. Let's get started.
Okay, so to begin with, I decided to focus on the flamingo element of the page, and I've used part of the die. This takes me a little while to sort of piece together, just because I'm not using the die as it's originally intended, because I'm not creating the card, but I had to cut sort of various layers of the flamingo. I knew I wanted to have different coloured sort of features on the flamingo as well. So I'm just cutting out all of those pieces now and working my way through the bits that I need to piece the flamingo together to create the final final thing. And I also thankfully was able to refer a lot to just the front of the packaging, because that helped me to figure out which pieces went where. So I'm just adhering those all together now and lining them up as best as I can. I'm just using a glue in my fine line bottle. It's just a Scotch tacky glue, and it makes, especially being in the fine line bottle, makes adhering those more intricate pieces like the beak and things like that a lot easier. So I'm adhering down those. I knew I had to add, I think, the tip of its nose and then the eye as well, back to, that's me trying to pick it up there, back to the flamingo, and then he's pretty much finished. So once I've stuck all that down, I try and figure out where I want to actually place the flamingo, and then I decided that I'd use these. I just had to use these concentric circles. Really love the concept of these, and I always would try to achieve a similar look with the circle nested framelets dies, the circle framelets dies, and could never quite get the look that I wanted, because I wanted the circle pieces to be a lot thinner. These are already beautiful and thin and perfect. So by using these dies, it's just so much quicker and so much easier. So I wanted to cut out a whole pile of circles in both pink and black and green papers, and my thoughts were that I'd just scatter them vertically up the page, and that's pretty much what I do for this layout. I also thought it would be fun to create a little embellishment using some of the papers in the collection and create one of those rosettes from these new dies. And I hadn't created a rosette in a while. I went through a stage of creating them a lot, and I've got an old Tim Holtz Sizzix die in my stash that was a rosette die. These are a newer design one that have really cool details on the edges of the rosette. So yeah, I've created my own little rosette, which you will see me piecing together shortly, and then I'm going to start embellishing the layout with some other bits and pieces. So I'm just still working on and trying to figure out what I was going to use, and here's me trying to get together the rosette to form it how I want to. So the easiest way to do the rosettes is to adhere them to on the back with a circle piece, as you can see there, and either you could stick a book on it or stick something that will hold it in place, but it needs to have time for the glue to set, and then you can pop your top sort of circular inner piece of the flower or the rosette on top. I'm sort of using it more like a flower, I guess, on this layout. I've got a couple of strips of the pattern papers going vertically along that left edge just to ground it a little bit. I felt like the layout needed something on that edge somewhere because the photo's quite heavy and I've got lots of embellishments, and the vertical design, it needed something, so I do add that to the side. I'm going to add the little flamingo directly on top of my photo, and it just sort of cups the edge of that photo there with its leg. And then I'm going to work on adding these circles down. Because I had the placement round about where I wanted them, I didn't want to pull them all completely off the page. So you'll see there I sort of, before I picked up that black one, tried to keep it semi where I wanted it to go and just pop some glue underneath. Same with the ones at the bottom, which you didn't see me adhering, but I did adhere them. And then I added some machine stitching off camera. My sewing machine isn't in a position where I can sort of show it on camera at the moment, so yeah, I've done that off camera. The sewing, I added some zigzag sort of a look to portions of the circle pieces, as well as just vertically down that edge. I'm going to add my photo and the little rosette that I've made, and I'm going to pop a little leaf, so I suppose it looks a bit like a floral piece there, and the way I'm embellishing it as well. Then I'm going to use some of the die cut pieces from the Heidi Swap Pineapple Crush pack just to add some further detail to the page. So I'm going to repeat the circular elements with some of the circle embellishments. I do want to add some hearts just because why not? And then I think that I'm wanting to add my journaling. Yes, that's what I do next. It's been a while since I created this page. So I found a cute little quote about flamingos that I wanted to add to the bottom corner, and then I'm going to cut that down into strip form and stick it on top of that tag, and then stick that tag in that bottom left corner. The reason that I chose the bottom left corner to add that journaling is because it just balances out the heaviness that's happening on that top portion of the layout. And I tend to talk a lot about balance in my big picture class over at Big Picture Classes. Obviously it's called It's a Balancing Act, and it talks a lot about how we can achieve balance on our layouts if you wanted to check that out. So that's it. This is the final layout, and I hope that you like it, and I will be back soon to share some more Sizzix projects with you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.